Yeah, I want to talk about like the satanic people who claim to be against censorship, but actually are lying, and they know they're lying, and they're spreading propaganda and lies. The simple lie is that communism is not capitalism. Communism is capitalism. It's the same thing. That's what it is. It's not a hard thing to understand. Capitalism and communism are one and the same thing, and censors do not want you to understand this because they think, oh, look, the communists are out of power. Now the capitalists can control things, and it'll be good. That's the same as the communists. Okay, there's no change. If we're going to leave the communists, and now, oh, great, now the capitalists can be in control. And I'm going to tell you that they're evil people. The capitalists are evil people is because they know that they're censoring the speech, but they're lying about it. Okay, so you could sit there and think that they're not censoring people because you're like, hey, the capitalists get to speak. But this is just satanic people. An example of satanic people is the billionaire from Canada, from the tribe. He's a tribe member of Canada, not of the Canadian tribe, but of the Serpent Society, literally. Okay, so this evil guy in Canada, the billionaire, he sued Google because he said this censorship and this and that. Meanwhile, he's censoring people on Rumble, and it's not a little bit of censoring. It's even the people on Rumble. They're censoring it on their own, desire. But it's not just it's just as it is anywhere else. Okay, who's censoring the dialogue? All of the evil people together, jointly. They're all working together to censor people because, hey, evil's good, and let's get on with it. This is not a hard concept to understand, and the censors are all working together. They are feeling very smart about themselves, and I want to explain. So this is a guy. He was on Rumble, and when he got kicked off of YouTube, and he's like, woe is me, I'm being censored. Meanwhile, the whole time he was on YouTube, he was censoring people. Okay, and he was lying about it. He said, no, it's not me, and he would pass it off as if, stuff gets censored on my channel, but it's not me. I'm not the one doing it. But he's lying, okay? That's what he was saying. Because you're calling him out like, well, that's happening, and that's what all these guys were saying too. They were censoring things and not taking credit for it, okay? So then I was on Rumble, and he's censoring my comments that were very fair, rational, valid arguments. But no, that's not acceptable to this guy, and he was deleting them, and you can see that they're being deleted while he's making his own comments. In the very video where he's talking about every day he makes a video, he's always talking about censorship all the time. But here he is censoring stuff, and what is his message? People are ignorant to understand. It's the same as any communist. His message is the same as any communist, and he knows he's censoring people, and he knows he's lying about it. And I pointed this out. It wasn't just himself. There was many other channels doing the same thing. And then because we had the proof that they themselves, this is an example that his timestamps, when my comments are disappearing, there he is. Oops, my comments just disappeared in his presence. And the other guys were doing the same thing. So then, with that proof in hand, they had to defend themselves and defend why it was important for them to censor certain things. Certain things need to be censored by these guys. And it's just lies, and they're very manipulative. There's one guy, he was censoring on YouTube since 2008, okay? And literally, the things he would censor are all the things he's saying now, and he's trying to champion himself he's bringing this important news to the people. Okay, when did you start doing that? Oh, 2018, 2019, 2020. Okay, in 2008, what was I telling this guy? About the Department of Justice and the FBI and the medical industry, particularly those three things, and very clearly, very adamantly, very loudly, and he didn't think that was proper to you can't talk about the FBI like that, you can't discredit the Department of Justice, because even the fact of the matter that we don't have American civil courts, we have the maritime civil courts. It's the Crown of London. We have a fealty to the Crown of London and their religious, magical court system. It's not an American civil system. This is a fact. The Bar Association is not American. The Bar Association is fealty to the Crown of England, which is not something we should have in the United States. But, this is something they want to keep hidden. And whom is doing this? It's a bunch of hidden liars who are manipulating the people. That's exactly what it is. But this guy didn't want to hear any of that. That was, oh no, we can't mention any of that. That's going to be erased. Now he knows it's true, and he's trying to claim that he was bringing the news to the people. It's never what he's been doing. He's been censoring people the whole time, and he's still doing it. Like, he has a guest, and the guest says a republic is the worst form of government, and he doesn't qualify his reasoning, and there's no contest. He just, he's the smart one. We have to take his word because he's so smart. And what is that guy? That guy is actually a communist capitalist. That's what he is. He's a communist capitalist, and that's what he is. And what? We're not supposed to question when when he says it, it must be true, and we can't argue because these censors are there. And people have to understand, how can you think even that it is possibly the worst form of government? And I'll tell you why. Simply because he didn't explain. He just gave a reasoning, and this weak reasoning, and it's not even to be contested. But it's really simple to argue. Like, can't you conceive of a more evil government than that? Surely it'd be easy to think of it. Think of, like, hey, if a government, we just have to feed the pigs the children. That's the government, and that would be worse, wouldn't it? But the thing is, he's fundamentally corrupt and broken in his thinking, because what he thinks the problem is that you have conscious values. And this is how communists think of everything. If you don't have conscious values, then everything's good. That's the position that he's taking, and that's the position all liars and evil people take. That's what their utopia is. And when you have these guys censoring us, claiming to be anti-communists, but they're not anti-communists. They are communists, and they know that they are. The guy on Sean, I suspect he's a diabolic, satanic Jesuit. That's what I suspect. Because at first I'm thinking, he's an idiot, he's a little dishonest, he was, mistaken about, he was censoring, he shouldn't have been, but he was. But I'm going to say, no, this guy is actually knowing agent of evil, and he delights in it. He's, very wealthy, and he gets to be praised as a champion of, human rights and God and Jesus and love and truth. But it's all lies, and he doesn't believe in more than that. He believes in lies, and that's what he really loves. Like they say, you don't serve two masters. And the nefarious nature of this guy, I think, he's working with the rest of the Jesuits, and he's just one of many, and he always was a Jesuit. He wasn't a little bit faulted in his way. He was always, with the intent and working with the people with an understanding of what they're doing, because they don't believe in doing anything else. The list just keeps going on, and it's they have their persuasion because they control the media, and they've been controlling the schools, and they've been controlling the money. And the idea that they're fighting communists, and that they're Christians, and that they're fighting censorship, this is lies. Like you see, that they're not fighting censorship. I'm not allowed to speak on their platforms, and they're lying about it. And it's been for a long time. It's not news. Like I said before, they used to blame, it's not them, it's the YouTube censoring. It's not me censoring, YouTube censoring. Well, I'm sure that happens, but it is them censoring as well. And who else was doing that? There's a long list of people doing that. And the fact that lying is what they consciously decide to do, they're not going to have. They're compromised. If you're willing to lie for security and money, you're compromised. And who isn't? You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is. And the people who aren't, they're being directly affected by people who are willing to do it for money. And as long as money is going to be the only arbiter of truth, love, and divinity, they're just going to keep paying people to do these crimes. But it's not a futile battle, because they want to make sure that, this is futile. You can't resist. You must join. You got to understand, what happened in the Ukraine. The Ukraine happened because the European Union, which is the Catholic bank, the European Union and the Catholic bank is one and the same. They ran out of money to buy off the criminals. Okay, so that was 2014. They were in trouble. The banks were insolvent, and the countries that the European Union was controlling were all revolting because the criminals are being paid, but the citizens are suffering. And so they had to put the Ukraine in the European Union to commoditize the people. The very people are property of the Catholic Bank, and that they're going to balance the sheets with it. They can't just print money because there was not enough commodities backing it up, but they could print more money if they backed it up with something, and they're backing it up with the resources and people of the Ukraine. That's what they've done, and how long is that going to last? Like they're in a, it's quite a lot of, commodities though. They were saying that all of the people, they're, what are they selling these people for everything imaginable? That's what they're selling them for. They don't have rights. There's no rights. And the resources, it's a lot of resources in Ukraine. And hey, that's balancing the sheets. That's, a good 15 years. That's a long time. That's all they need to do, because they're locking down any kind of decency and accountability. And that's the goal of these people. When you have censors and liars, having no accountability is the panacea. This is all that these selfish people are thinking.